Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Monday, the 12th of February. Paramilitary personnel killed in gunfight with militants in India's Jammu and Kashmir. Indian Prime Minister meets Omani leaders, attends business meet in Muscat. An ousted Afghan governor warns of massive protest as talks to decide fate fail. And now for all the details. One paramilitary personnel was killed on Monday as gun battle broke out between security forces and militants in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province. This comes 2 days after an assault was carried out on an army camp where 3 militants were gunned down after they killed 5 soldiers and a civilian. Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba terror group has claimed responsibility for both the attacks.
One personnel of India's Paramilitary Central Reserve Police Force or CRPF was killed as gun battle broke out between security forces and militants in Srinagar city of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Monday. The militants took shelter in a building near a paramilitary camp and an encounter broke out when the security forces made contact during search operations. The encounter was still underway till the last reports came in.
The encounter is going on. In the morning around 4:45, 2 militants they tried to barge into the headquarters of CRPF 23 Battalion, and the alert sentry he repulsed the attack. As a result, these two terrorists they sneak into the building which were close to the headquarters of the battalion.
Meanwhile, search operations were also underway at an army camp in Jammu city following a militant attack on Saturday which killed 5 soldiers and a civilian. India accuses Pakistan of training and arming militants and helping them infiltrate across the de facto border. Pakistan, however, denies those allegations.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday held talks with the top Omani leadership in Muscat to enhance bilateral ties between the two nations. He also met business leaders to explore options of close business cooperation between India and Oman.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday met Deputy Prime Minister of Oman, Fahad bin Mohammed Al Sayed, in Muscat to boost bilateral ties between the two nations. During delegation-level talks, the two leaders exchanged views on intensifying ties in a wide range of sectors, including energy, food, security, defence, trade and investment. Prime Minister Modi also held talks with Oman's Deputy Prime Minister for International Relations and Cooperation Affairs to enhance bilateral cooperation in areas of mutual interest. Earlier in the day, Prime Minister Modi met top chief executive officers and business heads in Muscat to explore options of close business cooperation between India and Oman. On the last leg of his 4-nation tour, Modi also visited a 125-year-old Hindu Shiva temple in Muscat and the iconic Sultan Qaboos Grand Mosque. Oman is a key strategic partner for India in the Gulf region. Oman also accords a high priority to its ties with India. Bilateral trade between the two countries stood at $4 billion in 2016-17.
In news from Pakistan, prominent Pakistani human rights activist and lawyer Asma Jahangir on Sunday died at the age of 66 due to an cardiac arrest. The pro-democracy activist championed women's rights throughout her career and was even imprisoned in 1983 and put under house arrest in 2007 for her tireless work for democracy and free speech.
Pakistani human rights campaigner Asma Jahangir, who faced death threats for fighting for unpopular causes and was jailed in the 1980s for her pro-democracy work during military rule, died at the age of 66 on Sunday in Lahore. The fiery activist reportedly suffered a cardiac arrest and was taken to hospital, where she later died. A lawyer by profession, Jahangir was a founding member of the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan and former president of the Supreme Court Bar Association.
एक ही साथ ऑलमोस्ट प्रैक्टिस में आए थे और बहुत लंबा अरसा जो है वो लीगल फर्टर्निटी के साथ कानून की बालादस्ती के जद्दोजहद में हम इकट्ठे रहे और बिलखसूस लॉयर्स की जो मूवमेंट थी उसके अंदर बड़ा नुमायां किरदार था उनका भी और उनकी एक बड़ी अनफ्लिकर्ड उनकी कमिटमेंट थी रूल ऑफ लॉ के साथ.
In Pakistan, Jahangir campaigned tirelessly for democracy and free speech, frequently received death threats for taking up causes such as criticizing the strict blasphemy laws of the conservative Muslim majority country. Fearless in the face of authority, she was imprisoned in 1983 for her work with the movement to restore democracy during General Zia-ul-Haq's military rule. She was also placed under house arrest in 2007 for her part in a lawyers' protest movement that helped lead to military leader Pervez Musharraf stepping down from power.
Moving on, due to lack of higher education facilities in Gilgit Baltistan, youth in the illegally occupied region are forced to migrate to Pakistan for their education. But recent violent attacks on students have created a sense of fear among them.
A protest was recently held in Gilgit Baltistan against the rise of incidents of violence against youth from the illegally occupied region in Pakistan. The locals demonstrated against the killing of a student from Gilgit last month in Pakistan's Lahore city and recent firing on 2 students in Rawalpindi city. They blamed such incidents show the appalling state of insensitivity of Islamabad towards the people of Gilgit Baltistan.
गिलगित बल्तिस्तान का एक तो वफाक में बदकिस्मती से वफाक में भी नून लीग की हुकूमत है जिसने गिलगित बल्तिस्तान को इतना पसमानदा रखा हुआ है कि उधर के नौजवानों के रोज़गार के लिए भी इधर आना पड़ता है, तालीम के लिए भी और इलाज के लिए भी इधर ही आना पड़ता है और इधर इन्होंने एक ऐसा बदमाशी कल्चर को प्रमोट किया हुआ है कि यहाँ हम बिल्कुल भी इसमें महफूज नहीं समझ रहे.
Locals have long blamed that Islamabad, through its repressive policies, has never allowed people from the region to grow academically. And when aspirants go out to attain higher education in other cities, they are meted out with discriminatory attitude.
In news from Afghanistan, Atta Mohammad Noor, the ousted governor of Afghanistan's Balkh province, has warned of mass protest after talks between his Jamaat-e-Islami party and the presidential palace have failed to reach consensus. The political impasse emerged after Noor's dismissal as Balkh governor in December last year.
One of Afghan's powerful regional leaders, Atta Mohammad Noor, has warned of holding mass protests after talks between his Jamaat-e-Islami party and Afghan presidential palace have failed to reach consensus. The two sides had a series of talks over the past 2 months in a bid to remove the political impasse that erupted in the aftermath of Noor's dismissal as Balkh governor by President Ashraf Ghani. But no breakthrough has been achieved till now. Noor announced he will launch a peaceful civil movement from February 27th till March 1st to demand Jamiat party's rights. Noor has used his position in Balkh as a power base to push for a major role on the national stage and has been seen as a top rival of President Ashraf Ghani. He was ousted as governor in December last year, but he has since maintained that he is still the legitimate governor of Balkh and will never step down without a political agreement.
More in news from Afghanistan. Originated in India, yoga is known worldwide for gaining inner peace and relieving stress. With its increasing awareness globally, Afghanistan too started appreciating the practice a few years ago. After the first yoga center opened last year in Kabul city by women, the country has now got its another yoga center in Balkh province.
Afghanistan's northern Balkh province on Sunday got its first ever yoga center, opened with the support of its physical education department and in cooperation with the Indian consulate. Around 30 youngsters, out of whom 15 were girls, took part in the first class at the newly opened center. The participants will be trained by an Indian yoga instructor for about a month, and then those who excel will be selected for further training.
حرکاتشان همگی تمرکز محور است و یک رابطه خوب بین مغز و بدن انسان ایجاد میکنه.
Participation of women in sports activities was never taken as normal in Afghanistan. However, in the recent time, yoga has been appreciated a lot in the country and has witnessed equal participation of women alongside the men. Last year, a yoga center was also opened by a group of women in Afghan capital Kabul.
A high-octane snow car race was recently organized in India's northern Kashmir province. The event saw participation of adventure and sports lovers. The race also drew scores of adrenaline junkies.
In an attempt to boost snow tourism in Gulmarg town of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province, the province's police department recently organized a snow car racing event. Tourists thronged the plateau to witness the adventurous sport. The provincial police have thrown their weight behind this snow car racing event in the valley, both to promote snow sports in Kashmir and to attract adventure tourists. Local car lovers also conveyed their enthusiasm at the prospect of driving through the sloppy lanes of the hill province.
See, there's a lot of snow around, and it's a unique experience to drive your cars on the snow tracks. So not only that, there have been a lot of tourists who are staying in the hotels in Gulmarg. We also wanted to have some activity, some adventurous activity, so that they come and enjoy.
Track अच्छा है, snowy track है, तो it will be fun to drive. और पैशन के लिए हम यहाँ पे आते हैं.
Gulmarg is a bowl-shaped plateau at an altitude of 8,500 feet in the Pir Panjal range of the Himalayan mountains. The scenic small town is also a favorite spot for tourists to indulge in winter sports like skiing, ice skating and paragliding.
A 14-day skiing camp is underway in Narkanda town of India's northern Himachal Pradesh province. The camp aims to provide skiing lessons to underprivileged locals of the province.
A high-octane skiing camp has been organized in Narkanda town of India's northern Himachal Pradesh province for underprivileged children and locals free of cost. The camp aims to offer them a taste of winter adventure sports through the tricky, ice-laden roads of Himalayan province. A total of 31 participants are attending the camp, which is encouraging the pupils to pick up the sport and develop a sense of adventure-seeking spirit amongst them. The camp commenced on February 4th and will culminate on February 17th.
ये सरकार ने पहली बार एक कैंप ऑर्गेनाइज किया है यहाँ पे और मैं अपनी अभी से देखूँ तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. मुझे एक नई चीज़ सीखने को मिल रही है और सही में है कि मैं एक प्रोफेशनल माउंटेनियर हूँ तो मुझे अब लग रहा है कि इसके साथ साथ एक माउंटेन तो हर कोई चढ़ता है लेकिन माउंटेन में एक और जगह एक इंजॉय लेने वाली एक देखने वाला एक अपने आप को सुकून देने वाली स्कीम है.
Situated at an altitude of 2,708 meters above the sea level, Narkanda is a popular winter sports destination among tourists across India. Skiing started in the district in 1980 and ever since, such training camps are held every winter.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/Asia Newsline and follow us on Twitter @Asia Newsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.